Venezuela is a country with a low elevation and little vegetation to absorb heavy rains, so flooding is expected. In this video, we're going to discuss the Vargas tragedy, which occurred in Vargas State, Venezuela from 14 to 16 December 1999, so watch it to the end. The country of Venezuela is situated between Colombia and Guyana and borders with the Caribbean Sea as well as the North Atlantic Ocean. On December 14 to 16, 1999, a storm in the northern coastal state of Vargas, Venezuela, caused catastrophic landslides and flooding along a 24-mile coastal strip north of Caracas from La Guaira to Naiguita. The impact on communities and infrastructure was significant. More than 8,000 single-family homes and 700 apartment buildings were destroyed or damaged in Vargas. Roads, phones, electricity, water, and sewage systems were all severely hampered. The total economic damage is estimated to be $1.79 billion. Although early estimates suggested that anywhere from 5,000 to 50,000 people died, the figure of 30,000 is now widely accepted as the approximate number of deaths. However, this is not the first time Venezuela has faced such calamity. The region of coastal Venezuela has a very steep and rugged topography. The Sierra de Avila's crest rises to 2,700 meters within 3 to 6 miles of the coast. The mountainous region's rivers and streams flow north, emerging from steep canyons into alluvial fans before emptying into the Caribbean Sea. With the exception of the alluvial fans, Vargas has very little relatively flat land available for development. Despite the severity of the damage to structures and roads, the landslides and flooding caused by the heavy rains were not uncommon in this region or throughout Venezuela. Alluvial fans are gently sloping, cone to fan-shaped landforms that form when sediment from eroded mountainsides deposit at the base of mountain ranges over thousands to millions of years. They are easily recognizable in arid and semi-arid environments like those found in the western United States. Alluvial fans are highly active because floods and debris flows can occur episodically at any location on the fan surface. Other alluvial fans are less active, with tectonic uplift and incision channeling flows so that floods do not affect much of the fan. Floods and debris flows are the most common natural hazards on alluvial fans, and they are caused primarily by heavy and prolonged rainfall. Floods on alluvial fans are usual, with incredible speeds and sediment transporting abilities. Since the 17th century, at least one or two high-magnitude flash flood or landslide events have been recorded in this region on average. Roll used Spanish archives to provide a detailed account of flash floods and debris flows in La Guaira in February 1798, which destroyed all bridges and caused extensive damage to homes and government buildings. To prevent debris from pouring into a fort near the stream channel, Spanish soldiers placed cannons crosswise in front of the upstream-facing entrance. Prehistoric floods and debris flows are also recorded in deposits found on terraces and along the banks of river channels. The extent of damage caused by a February 1951 event and the December 1999 storm can be compared using aerial photographs taken along the coastal region of the state of Vargas. The amount of rainfall, the number of landslides on hillsides, and the relative scale of debris flows and flooding in the main channels were all smaller in 1951. During the February 1951 event, Naiguita received 11 inches of rain, while El Infiernito received 20 inches. Rainfall at higher elevations of the El Avila was roughly double that recorded along the coast. The total rainfall at Naiguita in the December 1999 storm was significantly higher than in February 1951. Since the 1950s, the development and population growth of alluvial fans in Vargas has increased the risk of such events. Coming back to the flood of 1999. Heavy rains lashed Venezuela's north-central coast in December 1999, culminating in a period of extreme intensity from December 14 to 16. On the 15th of December, around 8 p.m. local time, runoff entered channels and rushed towards the sea, picking up and depositing sediments along the way. Following the first wave of flooding, thousands of shallow landslides occurred from the coast to just past the crest of the Sierra de Avila, ripping soil and rock from the landscape and sending them slipping down the mountainside. These landslides liquefied into debris flows, which are granular flows in which water mixes with high concentrations of rock and mud. The first reports of debris flows came in at 8:30 p.m. on the 15th, and the final reports came in between 8 and 9 a.m. on the 16th. Multiple debris flows were released by many catchments, some of which carried large boulders and tree trunks onto the alluvial fan deltas. A new wave of floods began between 7 and 9 a.m. on the 16th and lasted until late that afternoon. Because the floodwaters were less sediment concentrated, they were able to entrain new material and incise new channels into the previous day's flood and debris flow deposits. It was extremely fast-moving debris flows that were incredibly destructive. Geologists estimate flow velocities to be between 10 feet and 47 feet per second. Much of the observed damage was caused by these rapid boulder flows. In addition to debris flows, flash floods with extremely high sediment loads posed a significant risk. Hundreds of houses, bridges, and other structures were destroyed by flash floods and debris flows combined. They carved new channels to depths of several meters into every alluvial fan delta along the Vargas State coastline, then covered the fans in sediment. The disaster cost approximately $3.5 billion in damage. The death toll was estimated to be between 10,000 and 50,000 people. However, the exact number of victims is difficult to estimate because there is no reliable census data from the region at the time. Furthermore, only about 1,000 bodies were recovered, with the rest swept out to sea or buried in landslides by the mud. Vargas lost over 8,000 homes and 700 apartment buildings, displacing up to 75,000 people. More than 37 miles of Vargas coastline was significantly altered by the mudslides. The disaster impacted more than 70% of Vargas State's population. In some places, public services such as water, electricity, phone lines, and land transportation all but vanished. Because there had been no food or water for months, the majority of the population had to be evacuated. Looting and sacking were commonplace, prompting the military to declare martial law for more than a year. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez called on other Venezuelans to adopt a family after the disaster. In La Casona, Venezuela's presidential residence in Caracas, the former First Lady arranged for the temporary sheltering of children who were feared orphaned. Others offered assistance, including Venezuelan-born Major League Baseball shortstop Omar Vizquel, who helped raise more than $500,000 in relief funds. Following the initial emergency response, the focus shifted to determining the causes of the disaster and developing a long-term infrastructure to handle future torrential rains. Now we come to the end. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. If you're a new subscriber, please check out our channel. We're looking forward to sharing more informative videos like this in the future. Until then, stay tuned and stay safe.